We are taught that a successful life follows a rigid blueprint. You map out a 10-point plan, put your head down, and grind. This culture treats the sacrifice of peace as the standard tax on progress. This model illustrates manual control, a system powered by fear. Forcing a straight line onto an unpredictable world creates constant resistance, demanding more effort to maintain momentum. Eventually, a disruption occurs. The system redlines, and the pilot is left pulling unresponsive levers. We usually interpret this anxiety as a sign that the world is failing us. In reality, the breakdown reveals that the manual control framework itself was never equipped for the journey. What if our interpretation of these chaotic moments is actually backward? Instead of viewing disruptions as errors or bad luck, we can see them as specific, functional mechanisms. These storms function as corrective physics. They provide the necessary pressure to shove us back toward a viable trajectory when we've drifted into a dead end. Divine Autopilot operates on a different assumption, that an internal, unseen guidance already knows the route. This isn't passive surrender. Consider a surfer on a massive wave. They use every bit of their skill to align with the ocean's power, turning the wave's sheer force into their own propulsion. The difficulty lies in the discipline of the mind. It requires the active work of silencing the part of the brain that demands a map and forcing it to step out of the driver's seat. When we stop fighting the environment, we stop wasting energy. We begin using the momentum of life itself to carry us forward. Trusting this guidance often leads us directly into a storm. This is a shift from aimless struggle into a structured training ground. This curriculum has 3 phases. It begins with the storm, a period of chaos where the amount of incoming data is designed to overwhelm and break your manual control systems. Phase 2 is the delay. This is where momentum disappears. The pause is a functional requirement, providing the time needed to integrate the lessons learned during the storm. Finally, you enter the desert. This phase of isolation tests whether you can rely on your internal signals when all external feedback has been removed. Successfully navigating these phases triggers a mandatory shedding of what the source material calls backseat drivers. These are the anchors that keep the autopilot from functioning, the identities we've outgrown, guilt from the past, and ambitions only fueled by fear. The chaos acts as a filtration system. It strips away all the psychological weight that would have made the next stage of the journey impossible. Once the storm passes, the metric for success shifts. You stop looking at external benchmarks and start monitoring your internal state. This works because stress and frantic energy are signals of friction, proof that you are fighting the current. Internal peace is the data point that confirms alignment. When the system reaches a state of zero friction, you have found the path of resonance. You calibrate this compass through 3 inputs: regular silence to clear the noise, following intuitive nudges that feel right even without a logical map, and tracking synchronicities where life begins to line up on its own. By following these internal signals, your relationship with reality changes. You move from a state of pursuit to a state of attraction. This new paradigm replaces the need to grind with the simple practice of staying aligned. You are no longer forcing the plane to fly. You are letting the autopilot follow the signal. On this frequency, the extraordinary becomes the standard. Miracles and coincidences appear as the expected outcomes of being tuned into the right rhythm. In a world built on control and planning, the ultimate rebellion is getting quiet enough to listen to the current that was always there to guide you.